Hey, what's up? What's up, Chang? How you doing?
What's going on, everybody? Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. First, before we get started, we would like to pay some bills. So I'm going to start it off now with Sleeves.com. Sleeves offers great quality products from arm sleeves to knee sleeves to headbands to tights to joggers, socks, even dirty boxers. If you or someone in your life is an athlete, then you need to check out Sleeves.com and use code MWAPOD to get your 10% discount. Hey, let me tell you about these boxers again, because today's Father's Day, right? So I
Okay.
put them on. I put them on, right? And I go into my wife's office, and I'm standing in the doorway, and I start dancing, right? And I'm moving, like, I'm moving. I'm working it. I'm working it, right? And then I'm in my head, I'm like, hey, I'm looking like Patrick Swayze in Dirty Dancing,
I
right?
doubt that.
And then I looked down at my feet, and I was looking like Kevin Bacon in Footloose. And she just looked at me, and she just looked at me, and she was like, "Yeah, it's not gonna happen." So then,
I don't blame her.
I just tucked that elephant trunk between my legs, and I walked out the room, and I wound up being Patrick Swayze in Ghost.
That's awesome, man. Crazy stuff, brother.
There you go. MWA Pod.
Sleeps.com.
Use
That's
that
it right
code.
there, guys. All right.
10% discount.
Now, before we get even more started, I'm gonna put in some little shout out to healthvape.com. Health Vape sells healthy vaping alternatives. All products have no nicotine, no harmful or addictive chemicals, and they are vitamin infused. So make sure you pick yourself some up of their vape products and pod products using our code MWA Pod for a discount. I
10%.
know I know Pierce does that, and he says it's great, man. He feels the vitamins rushing through his fucking system. So
Oh man.
hopefully you guys go out there and grab some up.
Use the code, man. Get that 10% discount. MWA Pod. All right, with that being said, let's get started. All hell, the Knights of the Gimmick table, where the truth gets spit at the infamous round table and your feelings get left at the door. I am Boogaloo, and this is LowRyda, and we are the Dead Presidents. And today, we have a special guest.
Well, not only are we the dead presidents, but we are the reigning, defending, undisputed USA Pro Tag Champs.
Yes, still.
Still,
COVID can't
thanks
stop
to
us.
COVID.
COVID can't even stop us.
But our guest today is the man, the myth, the legend,
The
Mass
Mass
Maniac.
Maniac, Frank Goodman.
Frank
How you
Goodman.
doing, buddy?
Hold on, I got to do this, okay? I haven't done this in a long time. You ready?
We're ready.
There we
We're
go. Let's
ready.
do it.
I am your jacked up genetic freak. That's right, I'm pointing right between the beady eyes of every single little mark out there watching this right now. Your mythological cult hero, the guru of maniacism, the man with the 22.5-inch arms, the 63 3/4 inch chest, the real big neck. And I can't talk about my long and extremely potent you know what because it's currently broken. But either way, and we could talk about that too. I don't care.
Oh,
But
cool.
I am the masked maniac or Frank Goodman or Frankie Goodman or the bald guy with the big nose. It doesn't really matter. You can call me whatever you want. Hey, boys.
How you
What's
doing,
going
Frank?
on, Frank? Thanks for joining us.
You know,
Pierce,
I was
what's up?
talking to my wife before. I'm sorry to interrupt you guys.
No, go ahead.
And I've known you guys. Lou, I've known you since I think 1999.
I think it was before. I think it was 97.
Was it 97?
Yeah, I think 97 because I started in 97. No, yeah, probably the end of 97.
Wow. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, I used to be good looking with long hair. Now I'm ugly and I have no hair.
With the hell of a mullet.
I had a good mullet. I had a good
Business.
One. Yes.
Bryson, what's up, brother?
Definitely.
Pierce, thanks for the bits, brother.
Hey, so well, like people jump on randomly and ask questions. I mean,
Sure.
I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of people coming on because of who you are in this business.
Who I was, I guess, according to what people the people on the internet write, I'm probably irrelevant because people really I guess they really have no clue who I am anymore, which is okay with me. I don't really care.
Yeah, you just haven't ran in a year now, so
Well,
you know.
yeah, well, it's been was it Valentine's Day of last year?
Yep.
And
that
it's
was the last
funny,
one.
we finally started selling out Orlando shows.
Yeah, we
After
have.
all these years, we finally selling them out, and then the virus came, and then there was a hurricane, which came like the week of the virus and destroyed the roof of the building that we
Oh yeah,
run
that's
our
right.
shows in.
Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So
That's probably say that.
our building isn't even ready to run. But I mean, I'll answer any questions. I don't care.
Is it oh well, here we go. Somebody's already asking, when is the next USA Pro show?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I don't need the money. See, I don't run shows like other mark promoters do. Oh, I'm going to run a wrestling show so I could be friends with the wrestlers. Oh, I'm going to go run a wrestling show so I could tell people I'm a wrestling promoter. I run wrestling shows for two reasons at this point, because I'm old. Number one is to make as much money as humanly possible. And number two is because I like you guys. I only book guys that I like on my shows now. And the building that we have, we own the food concession. And it's very hard to get a building where you own the food concession. And
Definitely.
if I can't run a show in this building, I just have no urge to run a show. Unless I go back to New York and do what we did last time and sell out on the first show.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And the other thing is, I understand things are opening up and all that stuff. But me personally, I'm not ready to be in a building with 700 or 800 people. And, a lot of the people that come to the shows are dirty. A lot of the wrestlers that work for us are not clean. And, I mean, I've been healthy for 15 months. I don't think I want to get infected by some dirty, scummy guys.
Have you been vaccinated yet? Did you
No.
do the vaccine? No, okay.
I haven't.
So why risk it? Why risk your health? Yeah, we kind of were told, it was advised that we do for work, but I was gonna do it anyways. But yeah, we did it. He caught COVID. Chang caught COVID.
See,
I got it bad.
We did that wrestling show February 15th of what was it, 2019, was it, or something?
Yeah.
I had COVID in December before it was spread, before it was really a popular thing. And I had 6 consecutive days of 103.5 fever. And ever since then, I've been healthy. With me, I got a lot of health issues. And I can't put something that's not FDA approved in me right now.
I hear you. Yeah,
that's the only thing. If it wasn't for the FDA approved, hey, I'm cool for it.
Raksha, what's up, brother?
Hey, Raksha. I mean, I have I'm on 1,500 milligrams of blood pressure medicine a day. I'm on 1,000 milligrams of diabetes medicine. Now the doctor's telling me that I have kidney issues because of all the medicine I'm on. So, I mean, I can't risk sticking something that's not approved in me yet.
Yeah, I hear you. And
my penis is broken. I mean,
Oh, my God. How did that happen?
Well, remember the shoulder surgery I had?
Yeah.
Okay.
They thought it was
remove something
they thought your
from
shoulder was
your
your penis?
Well, pretty close. I had
down floor of the doctors, Frank.
Yeah, you're telling me. All four of my rotator cuffs were torn. My labrum was torn, and there was an additional tear. So they rebuilt my right shoulder. When they rebuilt the right shoulder, the doctor actually ruptured my bicep in surgery, and he didn't repair it. But the other thing is my blood pressure was rising during surgery, and my body went into shock, and my penis actually broke.
Oh, my God.
And it works. Fuck. I mean, it works. I promise.
Maybe you should get yourself some sleeves.
My penis works. but there's so much scar tissue in from the break
Yeah.
that I got to get giant needles shot directly to the side of it
Oh man.
to try to
Oh,
release the
that.
scar tissue, all because I had a shoulder surgery. You know,
That's fucking crazy.
yeah. So, we'll run again. I just don't know when.
Oh no, hey, no rush, man. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you got to do what's right for you, but you're doing it for our fans because I know you, Frank. You couldn't live with yourself if one of your fans got sick. One of
Yeah,
those
I don't.
because we have a group that comes to every show.
Yep.
And I could pretty much tell you because I interact with them that it's the same fans every show. We have a legit following, and I know for a fact if one of them got sick, I would feel like shit.
Oh yeah,
So,
and we still have fans that fly in from New York for our
Yeah.
shows out here in Florida.
Yeah.
So, our fans have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Remember, Rockstar almost died again after being dead for 55,000 years from having what he thought was the flu. Remember, that was why he couldn't make it to that last show.
Yeah, Rockstar had himself a rough last couple of years.
Yeah.
He's had a rough last couple of years.
He almost died with the Black Plague
That's
55,000 years ago.
That's right. 5,000 years ago was a rough period for him.
Yeah, for him, yeah.
So, do we have any good questions?
He just keeps coming back.
Does anybody have anything good?
Well,
Not
Frank,
yet.
I gotta ask you because
Yeah.
now that I got you here and we have everybody watching, how did you get started in the business?
Oh, it's very easy. You guys, I mean, like I said, Lou, we met around 97.
Right.
By the time we met, I was already going downhill as a wrestler. But back, what was it? I was doing bodybuilding shows my last year of high school, maybe 82. And I was on my high school and college baseball team, and I was offered a contract to play baseball by the Minnesota Twins. And in my senior year from high school to college, I went from about 170 to about 240 fast. I just blew up, and I couldn't make the throw from third base to first base. If you hit a ground ball to me, a clean ground ball, and I would throw it, the guy's at safe as first. He's safe at first every time because my arms were just too big. And at that point, I'm getting ready for a bodybuilding show. I'm getting ready for, I believe it was the Mr. Eastern USA.
Thanks for that.
And I was friends with Paul Heyman. And Paul and I were good friends. And I was working the night shift at a gym. It was Diamond's Gym in Flushing. And I'm working like 12 o'clock until 5 in the morning. Paul Heyman used to drive from his mom's house and he would sit in the gym with me overnight, and we would just talk about wrestling. And he used to bring me to his indie shows. And through him, I met Boogalou back in the mid 80s. And I became very good friends with the Road Warriors at that point, because we used to work out together. And then a neighbor of mine you guys are going to get a kick out of this. So a neighbor of mine was bragging that Sergeant Slaughter and the Road Warriors were going to be at her house in the middle of the day. I believe this was around 84, 85-ish. I believe, and I could be off on by a year or so, but I don't think I am. Slaughter just left WWE, and this woman was running an independent wrestling show with Billy Caputo, the referee. Remember Billy, our old wrestler?
Yeah, God bless him, man.
And
man.
They rented somebody's
Rest in
promoters.
peace, Billy.
They rented a promoter's license, and this woman was lying to the wrestlers. Her name was Corinne something, and she's telling all the wrestlers, "Hey, I got this big thing going on. We're going to be running shows all over the world." And she got the Road Warriors for an indie show, Sergeant Slaughter for an indie show. I drove Sergeant Slaughter and the Road Warriors around for like 3 or 4 days, and we became really close. And me and the Road Warriors started working out together whenever they were in town.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to go shopping together, and it was really cool. And I started getting trained with Boogalou, and this old time wrestler, his name was Tony Cadenza, the Flushing Flash. You have to look him up because he was a guy back in the 1930s, famous guy in the 1930s. He trained me, and I started doing indie shows. And the first show I did, I mean, at that point, baseball was out of the question. I was too big.
Yeah.
And at that point, I did a wrestling show. I think I want to believe it's 1985, Tottenville High School in Staten Island. And Paul Heyman named me. My name was Randy Hawk.
Randy Hawk.
Randy Hawk. It was only for one show. I became the Masked Maniac after that. And I mean, I probably did be shocking to you guys. I might have done 5 or 6 drop kicks. I mean, I could do everything.
How big were you then?
Oh, I was probably about.
You're smaller than you.
Yeah, I was probably about 230.
Okay.
Instead of afterwards I was 260 to almost 290.
Yeah, that's when I met you. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was also a bit taller. I was about 5'9", and before my hips went out and I got a little shorter. And I was so boring. I would do everything. Sunset flips. I'm doing arm drags. I'm doing everything. And fans are just chanting, boring, boring, boring. And I probably wrestled about 100 matches over the course of the next 2 years. And I just said, you know what? I'm going back to bodybuilding. So I start doing bodybuilding shows again. And, finishing second, I'm finishing third. And I realized there's no money here in this.
Was the money in the sponsorships back then for bodybuilding?
No.
How did they survive?
You back then you couldn't survive. There was no surviving. I owned a personal training business in Queens Boulevard, and I was making a lot of money. I mean, I was making a phenomenal amount of money.
Yeah, because
I was training people, Lou, before there were personal trainees. I trained some of the Mets. I trained a lot of athletes. I trained golfers. I trained a lot of bodybuilders. And, I was making $125 an hour in the mid-'80s. And I opened up a gym. I opened up a personal training center. I opened up 2 sporting goods stores.
Oh, wow.
And I'm working out. It's 1993. And I'm working out in American Physique on Queens Boulevard. Now you're going to get the Masked Maniac. This stupid jerk-off guy comes up to me. I'm probably about 288 pounds. My wife and I, Kath and I just got married. And I'm big. I mean, I'm like 288. My arms might have been 23 or so. And I was just big. And this jerk-off, the Romanian warrior. I guarantee you know who this guy is.
I remember him.
This guy comes up to me. I'm a famous wrestler. And I'm a famous promoter. And I'm going to be doing tours all over the world. Would you like to invest your money in it? He had no clue that I've been in the wrestling business since 1985 for 8 years, even though I took like 3 years off.
Yep.
And this guy is, he's like, let's open a wrestling school. So I financed the wrestling school, even though it's all in my name. This idiot thought that I was a mark and he was going to sucker me. I put a wrestling school in. The very first day I put the wrestling, it was me and Jason Knight, right?
Okay.
Jason will tell you, if you ever get Jason on.
He was living in Astoria then, right?
Yes. That's where the wrestling school was. It was in Astoria.
Okay.
So this jerk gets in the wrestling ring. If you guys thought I was bad, this idiot's running the ropes. The first time he goes into the corner to hit the rope, he hits his head on the wall. The wall was relatively close to the ring.
Right.
He hits his head on the wall, falls out. And I was just like, I can't do it. Jason helped me. We took my ring and the gym equipment out the next day. And I called up 2 friends of mine, cousin Luke and a demolition axe. And this was 1993. And I said, you know what, guys? I want to run a wrestling show. So we, Gene, Hillbilly Cousin Luke, booked Bayonne High School for 1993. And we had Snuka, the Bushwhackers, Tito Santana, Cowboy Bob Orton. I think Jason Knight was the opening match on the show. And
Johnny Rods, right?
We didn't use Johnny yet. That came after the show. But that's another story, too. And we drew 900 people in the very first show.
Wow.
And that's when I realized, oh, man, I could do this. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. You guys know Frank Goodman always makes money.
Yeah.
I didn't make a dime. I mean, Cousin Luke, who was a very good friend of mine, he took me for a ride. I learned the hard way because, I didn't know anything about running a wrestling show.
Right.
And I walked out of that building with not 5 cents in my pocket. And that show grossed, I want to say, about close to $20,000.
Wow. They pay the boys, right?
Oh, no. The whole budget for the show was only about $3,000, $4,000. Back in those days, it was a basic thing. Snuka got $500, Bushwhackers $500, Tito Santana $500, Cowboy Bob Orton $500. Nobody really was walking out of there with a lot of money except for Cousin Luke. But that was okay. I learned my lesson, and I got my first taste of throwing Eric Sims out of a locker room. And we got a call at 3:00 in the morning from the school that Iron Mike Sharp was in the bathroom washing his hands.
Still understand, yeah.
And the show ended at 10:00 at night, and we had to go back and get Mike out because Mike was a great guy.
He's a germaphobe.
But he had really bad OCD. Couldn't stop him.
Yeah, he was a germaphobe. I remember that.
Yeah, but great guy. Monster of a man in person.
Yeah.
And that was it. Great show. And that was it. After that, Cousin Luke, I think it was 95 or so, Cousin Luke introduced me to Johnny Rods. And Johnny tried. I don't want to use the word tried to rip me off because Johnny didn't try to rip me off. That's a big misconception people have. What Johnny did was Johnny tried to do what this business is about. Johnny tried to make money.
Yeah.
And he tried to make money off of me. And, that's just something you can't really do. It was done to me once in 93, and it wouldn't happen again.
So I remember him saying that he telling us that you owed him money. But then I remember you, but check this out. I remember you telling me that you gave Luke the money.
I did. Yeah.
So and now you just you just told us what Luke did before.
I
can honestly think that's where the money went.
Oh yeah,
I knew that for a fact when you told me that.
I'll say this: if Johnny Rods believes for a minute that I had any financial dealings with Johnny Rods, Johnny's not remembering correctly. And I'll tell you what happened. I believe it was 95 or so. And Cousin Luke brought me to, what was the name of the gym? Gleason's. He brought me to Gleason's and he introduced me to Johnny. And he told, him and Johnny, I guess they worked something out. But the deal was, and this was the only deal that I knew of, that I was going to use Johnny's students. And in return for using Johnny's students, Johnny found me 2 venues. Johnny found me Lehman College in the Bronx.
That was great.
And Central Islip High School in Central Islip, Long Island. And what happened was, and after that, just so you know, I never had a minute of business dealing with Johnny.
Right.
Nothing. Zero. Cousin Luke did everything. Me and Johnny never discussed a dime of anything. Cousin Luke said to me, "Hey, you are supposed to pay Johnny $50 per man for any of his students that you use, and he in return is going to, give you these 2 buildings." Now, what made me believe that whole story was legitimate is Johnny brought me out, had all the wrestlers in Gleason's ring. Johnny brought me out, and Johnny said in front of all the students, "Hey guys, this is Frank Goodman. He's a promoter here in New York. And what he's going to do is as you guys progress in the school, he's going to use you on his shows," which is what was explained to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Oh, also one other thing. Johnny was I didn't have a promoter's license in New York at the time.
Right.
Johnny was supplying the promoter's license, and in return, he was getting $500 for the promoter's license, plus the insurance, which he got paid that very day at Gleason's immediately. And Johnny never had a squabble about that.
Mm-hmm.
So the day of the show comes, and Johnny brought us Kid USA, the Spanish Angel.
I know, and Angel tells me, just so you know, Angel did tell us that his first show he worked in New York was with you.
Yeah.
And then he also said, if you ever run and like you saying it's gonna be your last show, he wants to be on it because he said he started with you. He would like to end it.
Yeah,
with
I
you.
love Angel. I love Angel.
So he just wanted me to tell you that he wants to do your last show. He said because he started with you, he wants to finish with you.
Angel's great, but it was Kid U. I believe it was Kid USA. And if you remind me later, I'll tell you some amazing Kid USA stories.
Kid Onion.
Kid Onions, absolutely. And there were a lot of other ones. I can't remember who. Maybe might have been the Musketeer, and it was a bunch of guys like that. And it may have been Vito. I'm not sure if Vito was ready yet at that point.
There goes Angel right there. He's running up.
Hey, Angel. And so we do the show, and it was a huge show. When I tell you, we had, I want to say 1,500 people in Lehman College. We had the main event was the one-man gang versus Hercules Hernandez.
Wow.
It was
Snooker
versus Valentine. And we're talking the 90s, early 90s, these mid-90s. Right. These guys are still great.
They were still going, yeah.
Yeah. Demolition Axe. Oh, my God. There were other guys that you never see on the indies. I'm just drawing a blank. Bundy and all those guys. Johnny worked, and he wanted $350 for himself, which I gave him, but he had to work as the super medic. And it was just a tremendous show. And after the show, and I gave Johnny the money for the students, $50 a guy. And one of his students came up to me and said, "Johnny only gave us $10. Is that all we're getting?" So I took Johnny aside and I said, "Johnny, I gave you $50 a guy." And
Alan, what's up, brother?
And I can't tell you what Johnny said because I don't remember, but I'm going to be honest. As a promoter, as somebody that promoted shows for 28 years, I don't think what Johnny did to me was wrong. Johnny had every right, and I respect Johnny. Johnny had every right to charge me $50 a guy and pay his guys $10. He had every right to. Every right.
So I'm gonna tell you, I know a lot of schools, when they make you sign a contract when you come in there, hey, if you ever get signed, I get 10% of your first contract. Oh, yeah. I know Alpha did it. Dory Funk did it. A lot of people did it. So
Dory was just running a fucking camp, and he was doing that.
Yeah. So people think that Johnny, that I had some kind of being upset with Johnny. Not in the slightest bit. I think what Johnny did was good business. He charged me a higher price, and paid his students less. It's not my business what his students got. Johnny subcontracted the students with me.
Hey, Frank, do you know who Kiwi is? That's Kiwi said
No.
that you kick ass. He
Oh,
was in
I don't
WCW,
see
Alan
anything.
Funk. You don't see
I
anything
don't
down
see-
in the bottom?
No, I see nothing.
Oh,
What the hell?
But
Yeah,
that's okay.
Alan Funk Kiwi, he was with WCW for a while. He's got a
we followed
podcast
each
on
other.
our network.
I think we followed each other on Facebook until that was
Until
the end
you
of
got-
Facebook. Yeah.
yeah, he's a good, very good
He's
guy.
a good guy, man.
But so let me tell you this. So then the next day, it was with back-to-back shows. We ran Central Islip High School, the worst storm you ever had. I mean, this was the most vicious rainstorm ever. Okay. We still, again, back-to-back nights, 1,500 people.
Wow.
Again, Demolition Acts. Earth. What's it?
Typhoon.
No, I'm sorry. Hercules Hernandez, the one-man gang, and Johnny had ticket sellers, guys that were selling tickets to be on the show.
Yeah.
And
Is that where you got it from?
that's where I got it from.
Oh,
Yep,
nice.
absolutely got it
Nice.
from
Truth
Johnny.
comes out. Johnny Rods.
Johnny's listen. Johnny was a genius. People think I invented ticket selling. Not a chance.
I did. I did think that.
Johnny Rods invented ticket selling. I just took it to another level. Johnny Rods would bring one ticket seller to a show. Okay, 2 ticket sellers to a show. Me, I said, what the hell? I brought
Battle Royal.
I brought
40
30
of the
ticket sellers to a
motherfuckers.
show that sold like 400 tickets total.
Yeah.
And but here's the thing: the show started at 7:00. The ring didn't show up until 7:00. The music didn't show up, and Johnny just was like, he put his hands up. He's like, it's nothing I can do. And then the ring gets there that night. And again, I don't know if Johnny even knew this. We got the ring from 911 from ECW.
Okay.
He shows up at the time the show starts. He's like, hey, you got to give me another $500 or I'm not putting the ring up. Now
he tried to hold you up.
he didn't try. He did it. He did
Why?
it because it doesn't
Can't do
matter
anything without
that
it,
he's
right?
6'10" and that I'm 290 pounds. What mattered was
You needed his ring.
I had 1,500 people in a building. The show is now 30 minutes late, and I got no ring up.
That's a real piece of shit move.
So I said, look, I could give you the $500 and I'll never use you again, or you can just do it with the amount we said. And he's like, that's okay. Never use me again. Not knowing I was going to go on to run close to 900 shows in the next 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, I paid Johnny for the students and everything was well, but the state athletic commission was extremely difficult those 2 days. And we rented Johnny's partner's promoter's license, and Hercules Hernandez, the one-man gang, there were about 6 guys who had EKG issues, and the athletic commission didn't want them to go on.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say it cost me a lot of money that night. And Johnny and his partner, as the real on paper promoters, was supposed to have taken care of that, not me.
Yeah.
And I probably, you understand, it cost me a lot of money to make sure those wrestlers appeared on the show that night. But once again, I think Johnny Rods is I think he's amazing. And if Johnny truly believes that I owed him a dime, okay, Johnny Rods was friends with me on Facebook, was friends with me on other social media.
Well, this was a while back. I'm saying this from a while back.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, at no point, Johnny never said to me, "You owe me a dime," ever.
Be honest with you, I think we told him what you said when you were like, "Hey, I gave Luke the money."
Yeah.
And we told him, and I think he kind of figured it out. When
he probably did.
Yeah.
But anyway, right after that, I just started running like crazy. People are like, well, how'd you do 800 and something shows in all these years? I hooked on to the fairs. I started running state fairs, and I'm running 4 and 5 shows a day at the fairs. Then I'm running shows in Jersey. I'm running, listen to this, in New Jersey every Thursday, every Friday, every Saturday, every Sunday. I'm seating 1,000 every show. I'm doing 16 to 20 shows a month, and we're seating 1,000 every show. Finally, I'd say, you know what? I'm going to get a promoter's license. I get a promoter's license for New York, and I start running in New York. And you guys know because you were on the shows.
Yep.
People don't understand. When I say in 400 or 500 New York shows, the only time I sat under 500 people was the Road Warrior show in Mineola, where we ran the show in 1 week's notice.
Yeah.
Other than that, I sold out just about every show we've ever done. People didn't stay till the end.
That was
the show Nana lost his tooth.
show when Nana lost his tooth.
Nana lost the tooth. That was
My
great.
tooth.
My tooth. Where's my tooth? And can I tell you, Frank Goodman doesn't owe anybody any money. Even though we had insurance on the shows, I paid Nana for his tooth.
Yeah.
Oh,
I paid him to have a new tooth put in. He was irate.
This guy or lady, I don't know, Exapt says they used to come to see you at Franklin Square Firehouse.
Oh man,
on Long Island.
The Franklin Square Firehouse were the greatest shows. You remember those?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I wrestled my brother on that show.
I was going to say that,
man. We're putting 700-800 people in this little firehouse.
Yeah.
And we had the ambulance pulled up to the ring. Oh, they were great shows.
That's right, Rock Show. We're still the tag champs, brother.
Yep, you are the tag champs. We did the Big Dick Dudley Memorial Show there.
Yeah, this person said that that you wrecked the ceiling in the Mineola Hall.
You bet we did. And they
did.
made so much money off food. They let us. We actually, we had a thing. There was a match in there that the electrical wires started sparking, and we had little flames of fire coming out during the match. You know,
yeah,
those
I remember
were good
that.
times.
Yeah, I remember that was a gorilla press, and then the electrical.
Yeah.
It was crazy. There was crazy stuff, you know.
Yeah, we had some good times there. I remember my brother and Damien versus the Boogie Nights there.
Speaking of Boogie Nights,
and me and Flex being in the crowd just fucking heckling the hell out of them.
Hold on. Was his name Mac Daddy Flex?
Yeah, Mac Daddy Flex. Man, me and him would sit front row all the time
I remember him.
Just to talk.
Wait a minute, brothers. Did I just hear what I think I heard, or was that a figment of my imagination?
Mikey, hold on. Before I forget, because now we're talking about Johnny's school, I got to tell you guys a story. So, I used all Johnny's students and everything like that, right? So I'm in Hawaii because you guys know I used to go to Hawaii for.
I remember you going to Australia a lot because your wife was from Australia.
Yeah. We moved there for a little bit, but we would go to Australia for a month every year, and I'd go to Hawaii for a month every year. So I'm in Hawaii, and I'm working out at it was Gold's Gym in Waikiki Beach, and it's about 5:00 in the morning, and I turn my phone on to check my messages, and it's 5 in the morning, and I'm walking out of the gym. I'll never forget this day. And all of a sudden, I'm listening to my messages, and I hear this voice, and this is the voice. I'm not going to say the F word because I'm really not a cursor, but understand they used the whole F word. F you, Frank Goodman. F you, Frank Goodman. I'm going to kick your ass, Frank Goodman. F you. It was the longest F you I ever heard in my life. It turned out it was that guy. His name was Red Young. Okay. Now, I never, just so you understand, I never met this guy in my life.
Yeah.
Ever. I think he may have worked for me a couple years after that.
He worked for Jack.
Maybe it was Jack he worked for, not me. It's hard to tell considering Jack used to pay me so he could be a promoter. But he's cursing me out on this voicemail message.
You should have said that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was 97 and a half phones ago. And the funniest thing about that, as I said, was we never met. We never spoke. We never had a minute of conversation. And to this day, I still don't know why this skinny turd with that big head was cursing me out on the phone. I have no clue.
He wasn't really skinny, but
He wasn't really skinny?
no.
Well, I was 290 pounds. Everybody was skinny next to me in those
He
days.
was a chunky dude.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Well, I told you I didn't know him.
With Chris Candido hair.
Wow. I wouldn't know him if I tripped over him. You know?
He'll probably chime in at some point, unless he's protesting this interview because he still says "fuck you."
Yeah, but I didn't even know the guy. I never did anything to him.
He's a good kid.
I used to get blamed.
No, he's a good dude, man.
He's a good dude.
I used to get blamed for everything.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What was the beef with you and Bobby Lombardi?
Bobby and I really, so you guys understand, and I don't think a lot of people really knew. Bobby and I dropped you.
No.
The honest to goodness,
something happened.
Yeah. The honest to goodness truth is Bobby and I never really had a beef. What happened was when I used to run my shows in New Jersey, Bobby used to come to my shows. You know how you ever watch WWE, WWF, like when you were a little kid? Mm-hmm. And there would always be like a 300-pound, 400-pound guy sitting in the front row.
Yeah.
And my New Jersey shows, that was Bobby. Bobby used to come to all my New Jersey shows, and he used to sit in the front row, and he was such a good guy. Hey, Frank. Hey, Mrs. Goodman. How's everything? And Bobby came to me, and he said, hey, Frank, would you like to partner with me and run this New York show I'm planning on running? And I told him I really wasn't interested at the time. I think Bobby thought I had a promoter's license, and I didn't at the time. And Bobby asked me if I wanted to, and I told him I really wasn't interested, and I didn't have a promoter's license. Is what I told him. And the next thing I knew, Bobby started calling to New York State Athletic Commission and was telling them that I was renting somebody's license to run my New York shows. I was running shows up in Carmel, New York. Captain Lou Albano was getting me the buildings, and I was angry, and I went to Bobby was a taxi cab dispatcher, and I went to where he worked, and I expressed what would happen if he kept doing things like this. And, it's just a work, Frank. It's just a work. And the next thing I know he's telling everybody me and him don't get along. And he apologized and everything was cool.
I remember him showing up to one of your shows, and then you just went out there and grabbed the mic and then ripped him a new asshole from the ring while he was sitting in the crowd.
Oh, see, I don't remember that.
It was at the Elks Lodge. He was in the balcony. Yeah, he was in the balcony. You sure it wasn't
Tony DeVito? Tony did that.
No, you did it to Bobby.
I did it. Did I?
Yeah.
I didn't remember.
It was DeVito, boys. I was there.
DeVito did it too?
Yeah.
We were in the ring. We were in the ring with Angel and DeVito, and he cut a promo on Bobby
it was DeVito.
in the balcony.
Oh, shit.
I was talking about that match with Angel the other night.
Yeah.
So Louis, man, what's wrong with you?
I remember him.
So Bobby invited me to come to his first wrestling show, and I went, and again he apologized for everything, and we stayed in pretty good contact after that, and when the and Homicide will tell you this also.
I remember him showing up to the locker room because you had Manny Fernandez on the show.
Yeah, I'll get into that.
And you tell me, you go, hey, Boogaloo, I'm gonna need your help here because LIWF guys are around.
Yeah,
so something pops off.
Well, I'll tell you in a sec. But Homicide will tell you, I used to get all this blame. Everybody used to say, "Oh, Frank Goodman's the one calling the State Athletic Commission and ratting out Bobby Lombardi." Homicide
did it to Johnny too.
Yeah, Homicide will tell you the truth. I hope he will. The truth of the matter is, I called Bobby and told Bobby, hey, they're going to come to your building. I was telling him they were going to come to your building. And Bobby was like, I don't care. According to Bobby, he had friends at the State Athletic Commission. You know, but the homicide story was great. The state athletic, at this point, I do have a promoter's license. It's my own license. And the athletic commission was giving me a terrible time, a really hard time. And the athletic commission told me, if anybody is in my locker room that is not wrestling on the show that night, then I'm going to get like $1,000 fine for every wrestler in the locker room. And I want you to be clear. Nelson did nothing. You know, homicide. Homicide did nothing wrong. He didn't know. Manny brought him in the locker room. We never met before.
He bought him a skinhead Ivan.
Yeah, I didn't know about Ivan. And he brought homicide and Manny's like, this is my friend, you know, homicide. I want you to use him on some shows. And the athletic commission standing right behind me. And I freaked out. I'm like, you got to leave the locker room. And homicide's like, why? I said, because I said so. And homicide got angry and I got angry and I told homicide what I'd do to him. And homicide told me what he would do to me. And I said, you know, that we can do it right now. And it got to be a really big thing. And Manny after it was over, Manny's telling me, he goes, Frank, this is a really good guy. This is a really good guy. So about a month later, I called homicide and I explained what happened. And I don't think people really understand. Homicide and I are extremely good friends. We don't talk much anymore since, you know, I'm kind of really not in wrestling. But we're really pretty close. As you heard, I called him Nelson. I believe I'm the only person in the world other than his immediate family that called him Nelson. You know, he worked on just about almost every show that I did in New York after that, you know. But yeah, I was angry. But no, I mean, you know, Bobby and I used to talk like once a week once he moved to Florida. We used to joke around and talk and everything. You know, he neglected to tell people we were running a wrestling show the same day. And on my posters would have all these great wrestlers on it. And at the bottom, Bobby would go into the stores and say, I'm sorry, can I fix my poster? And on the bottom where it says for tickets, he'd put his phone number. So people thought they were buying tickets for my wrestling show. They were buying tickets for a Bobby Lombardi show.
Wow.
You know, but I mean, again, you know, this is this business. This business is full of lowlifes. Bobby and I happened to start getting along after everything was said and done. You know, which is generally what happens. You know, it's generally what happens.
Well, fast forward to when USA Pro got good. When I got there.
Hold on. All right. From 1985. From 1993 until 1999, I believe we drew 900 to 1,000 every single show. And the shows were so god-awful boring, I can't tell you. I mean, imagine this. You want to see me versus Boogalou all the time? You want to see me versus Bundy all the time? You want to see me versus Snooker all the time? These were horrible matches. I mean, these shows were terrible.
Rockstar says that Bobby's the reason why you booked him.
Say that again?
Rockstar says that Bobby was the reason that you booked him.
No, that's not true.
And Angel wants to know if Homicide uppercutted your knee.
No. Actually, I don't believe. I mean, I've wrestled everybody. I don't believe. All right, hold on. I got to take that back. I think the only Homicide worked in my wrestling school for me when I owned a wrestling school, and I believe the only time I ever was in the ring with Homicide, I think, when I had my wrestling school, we were doing little school matches, and he kept telling, "Don't touch me," because at that point I was already old, decrepit, and not a smart thing to do. But no, Homicide never touched me in the ring. And again, I'm not sure. I think we did some kind of student tag match together, but wasn't in the ring at the same time. But I don't remember. I could be wrong. You know, but when I'll be honest, around 1999, 2000. I'm running. I think it was 99, maybe. I'm running a show in Staten Island. Once again, we had 1,000 people. The show was amazing, and this skinny little snot kid comes up to me, Mike Tobin, and he's like, "Yo, Mr. Goodman."
Boogaloo Lou.
You know, big. Oh, that Lou, that might have been your first show with
That was
me,
my
right?
first show, yeah.
Your first show with me was it like 99 or so, right?
It was
It
before
was
that.
early 2000. Early
No,
2000.
it was 99.
Was it?
Hey,
All right. Well, whatever.
hey guys, I don't mean to cut you off for a second, but Boogaloo Lou and Homicide tag team was dope. Raksha.
Absolutely.
I don't think
was.
Homicide would appreciate you calling him Homicide.
But Tobin comes up to me. He's like, "Yo, when do you have your next show?" I said, "Next week. We're doing a show next week at the Knights of Columbus." He's like, "What can I do to get on it?" I said, "Sell 100 tickets." He goes, "Done."
It was me, Drake, and Carmen Ducci.
Yes.
We banged out 100 tickets in a week.
You did. You banged out 100 tickets. They all showed up, and you were the tag champions that night.
Look.
And-
There it is right there. I broke this out for the occasion. The WCW replica belt that Boogie and myself traded back and forth.
Oh, my God.
I lost
You know,
count how many times.
do you guys remember the best thing about those days? Do you remember Mike Krul had a guy he used to wrestle against?
Yeah,
Oh,
powder.
fucking powder.
Powder.
Joey
Going under the
Baba-
ring and throwing it
Yeah,
up.
but
Right,
he go under
right.
the ring and throw up. His name was Powder.
Joey Baba Faguchi.
Yeah.
Every match he'd go under the ring and vomit.
Yep, under the
Yeah.
ring. Yep.
That was great. But you guys are true. You guys are honestly telling the truth. Starting in 2000, when all of you guys started appearing, is when I finally said to myself, "You want to know what? It's not all about the big names. It's
And
about
the big bodies.
it's about having good matches and young guys."
Yeah.
And you guys all start. Lou started coming in, and Lou, Damian Drag Queen. I mean Damian Dragon. I never wrote that on the USA Pro Wrestling message board. Lou and Damian had a really good tag team, and the Boogie Knights were there, and we had
The
Angel.
real
and
Boogie Nights.
The real
The real
Boogie
Boogie
Knights.
But by the way, Drake sends his regards to everybody. Happy Father's
Hey.
Day.
All right.
And we had
Father Drake.
we had Angel and Tony, Angel and DeVito, and guys like Snuka. Oh my God, I dropped you again.
No.
Guys like Snuka actually started not doing the basic Snuka match, but I don't know if you guys remember. Snuka grew the black goatee,
Yep.
You got him in boots again.
got him in boots, and
And he
Snuka
went through the gimmick table.
went through the table, turned heel.
Mhm.
Snuka gave us bloody matches. Guys started giving us 40, 50-minute matches. Raven starts wrestling, doing 60-minute matches. And the next thing you know, the shows are, with the exception of the ticket seller matches and my matches, of course, which the ticket seller matches in some cases were the best. The shows just took off,
Yeah.
And 90% of these guys are in WWE and give Frank Goodman zero recognition, as does Ring of Honor. You never hear Ring of Honor say, hey, if it wasn't for USA Pro, we wouldn't be here. But, the guys that started with us, and I'm not knocking, look, Ring of Honor's great.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a fact. No Frank
Right.
Goodman,
And
Ring of Honor.
It's the truth. No Frank Goodman, no Jack Sabbath. There's no Ring of Honor.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
you two did it. It was
Yeah,
you two.
I like to pick on Jack all the time, mostly because it's easy. But Jack's financial issues aside, Jack had good ideas.
Mhm.
And one thing about Jack, and look, Jack's not good with money.
It wasn't. He let the people take advantage of him.
Yeah,
He let
Jack
the workers take advantage
absolutely. Jack was
of him.
not
Jack's a
good.
great guy.
Jack was not good with money. Jack was not good making money. Jack was not good with who he trusted. And but the fact is, Jack had an excellent eye for talent.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for Jack, and I hate to give him this type of credit, if it wasn't for Jack, I'm telling you, there would be no Amazing Red.
Yeah,
And there would be no.
You wouldn't
any of
have
that.
us. You wouldn't have me because he brought me to you.
Yeah. Yeah. But all those guys that think, well, you know what? if it wasn't for Goodman and Sabbath, somebody else would have discovered us. No, because nobody would have
There was
discovered
nothing going on in New York.
No, right. No, nobody would have discovered you wrestling in front of 10 people. You came to our shows, and whether people were in Jack's show for free or not, they were in front of big crowds. They were in front of big crowds, and nobody gives Jack, and most of all me. I'm like, I'm an egomaniac. No one gives us any credit whatsoever. And I'm going to say something on here right now I've never said, and I believe Mike Tobin knows the truth. I don't believe I've ever gone on a show and said it before. Okay. I'm not good with years because I've had a lot of concussions, a lot.
Okay.
When you're not a good wrestler, and I was not a good wrestler.
You got to tuck
I
your
had
chin.
I had 3,000 to 4,000 matches. Okay.
Yeah, tuck your chin when you bump, Frank.
Yeah. When you're not good, you wrestle guys who aren't good. And when you wrestle guys that aren't good, you get hit in the head a lot. And I've had over 24 concussions. Mike Tobin gave me a vicious concussion once. And
let me hear. Let
Did
me
you
hear
do
the
leg
story.
drop? Leg drop?
no, Mike.
No, I knew this story was coming.
Yeah, Mike did a baseball slide,
called
kicked the
it.
steel chair against my head. I was knocked unconscious in the ring. When we took the mask off, I had a grapefruit on my eye. Remember that, Mike?
I do, but it was a plastic chair at
well, it hurt.
Amazura, and there was no arm in between it.
No, there was not,
Listen.
because I'm not fast enough for that.
And Frank, you will never let me forget it. But Frank,
No, I
thank
won't.
you for giving us all.
Why were you in the
start,
ring with
man.
Frank Goodman though?
Because Frank Goodman can wrestle sometimes.
No, I'm saying, but why were you in the ring
Let's not get crazy.
It was a
Frank.
singles match.
against
M.
Frank?
Tizzle versus the Masked Maniac.
Yeah,
No,
Amazura.
I don't remember that.
Amazura.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
You should have seen me versus Candy.
2006.
I did a barbed wire baseball bat match against Candy, and I hit him in the head with the bat with barbed wire on it, and I couldn't get it out of his head. I had to take my
Talking about that little fat kid Candy.
Yeah, candy.
yeah,
Candy.
I had to put my foot against Candy's stomach, and I'm trying to pull the bat out of his head, and all of a sudden you hear this, and the bat came out. It was terrible. But anyway, I think Mike can back this up. I don't know if he knows the whole story. So there were two guys, and they used to come to every single USA Pro show in New York. And they're like, Frank Goodman, we work for In Demand. And we come to every one of your shows, and they're the greatest shows ever. And you get 1,000 people at every show. Can you make a best of tape for us to bring back to In Demand? I said, sure. And at the time, I'm like every other stupid promoter. In Demand, pay-per-views, holy smoke, I'm going to be WWE. And we made a best of tape. It had, I don't remember the exact matches, so I'll make up fake matches for you guys, okay? Maybe it had the Amazing Red versus Kid Cash. I was the first one to do that. It had Low Key versus so-and-so. Whatever the match was, I was the first one to do that. It was this match versus this, and I gave them the greatest matches you can imagine. And I don't hear from the guy for about 6 months. And then all of a sudden, this new company is advertised called TNA. Okay. And all the matches that TNA had were the matches on my video. And that's a fact. That's a fact, And we tried to contact these guys, and we soon found out these guys quit In Demand. Guess where they worked?
TNA.
You got it. So I
how
had
many
it.
gimmicks was stolen from USA Pro over the years?
Oh, yeah, well,
that's a whole other show.
So
you know what I mean?
I had a temper tantrum, and TNA flew me out to Florida. I wasn't living here at the time, and I was supposed to talk to Jeff Jarrett about it, and they bring me in the back, and I'm sitting in the back. And all these guys are walking up to me, like Jeremy Borash walked up to me. Oh, Frank, I'm sorry. I heard what happened. And all these people are apologizing. I didn't know Jeremy Borash really.
He's a good guy.
You know, I knew him from writing. He was writing on the message board and stuff like that.
Jeremy is a very good guy.
And yeah, well, he was such a good guy. He knew what happened, but nobody said anything.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Jeff Jarrett walked up to me and he just looks at me and he says, "I'm sorry." And I said, "Well, what could we do? You know, what could we do? It's done." So they bring me in this room and a bunch of other people start talking to me and they're like, "Look, you're the guy from New York and you're the guy that seats 1,000 people a show. We want that. We want the 1,000 people a show you have," because they weren't getting it. They were giving free tickets away and still nobody was coming.
Yeah.
So TNA were like, "What could we do? We want to run New York." And I'm like, "Well, you can't." Because at that point, Vince McMahon has a promoter's license. I have a promoter's license. And I believe Mike O'Brien in upstate New York had a promoter's license. I don't believe anybody else did. And TNA said to me, "We want to buy USA Pro Wrestling." I'm like, "All right." They're like, "When do you have, you know," and they're like, "You know, our attorneys are going to send you over an offer, you know, and we're going through all this stuff." And I'm like, "That's good. That's good." And they're like, "Well, we can do this." And I'm not going to go into anything financial with you guys. Okay. Especially considering it's been so many years, I could say the wrong amount and I don't want to be a liar. But we went over financial stuff. We agreed to everything. They told us that their attorneys will be sending over stuff. And when is our next event? And just so you know, it was so TNA could be TNA New York. That's what they were going to do. So they said, "When's your next show?" I said, "My next show is in 2 weeks." And they said, "Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to send you AJ Styles. We're going to send you Frankie Kazarian." There was a bunch more people. I want to guess, and I want to say they were going to send us about 10 guys. Okay. And they sent us posters, advertising, watch TNA. They probably sent us about 100 posters that we would have plaster all over the building that said, watch TNA on whatever channel it was on. And, you know, all kinds, because they didn't have enough time to make TNA New York stuff. So they did all that. And, you know, AJ Styles contacted me. Kazarian contacted me. Chris Daniels contacted me. And they're like, "So, Frank, we're all on the next show." And I'm like, "Yes, you're all on the next show." And all the stuff TNA mailed me showed up, but the contract never did. And I waited and I waited, and nobody's returning my phone calls. And everybody's ignoring me. And it's like 4 or 5 days before my show. And I'm supposed to now pay because obviously they're not buying my company, right? Obviously, I'm just some stupid mark that they were trying to con into me letting them use my promoter's license so they can come to New York. Because if you think for a minute Vince McMahon was going to let them get a promoter's license, not a chance. He would have pulled every string he could not to let it. So it's 3 days before my show. And AJ Styles, Chris Daniels, Kazarian, they all want airline tickets. So I contacted them. I said, "Guys, TNA was supposed to pay you. TNA was supposed to fly you to my show. They were going to pay for all of their guys. I was going to use all of my guys, you know, Elix Skipper, all these guys." And I said, "TNA's ignoring me like I don't exist." So I hop on an airplane. 2 days before my show, I fly out to Florida. I go in the back. Jarrett's avoiding me. Everybody's avoiding me. Jeremy Borash looks me in the face. He's avoiding me, but he knew. He knew what was going on. Everybody knew Now 18, 19 years later, they might all say, oh, Frank Goodman's full of crap. But everybody that was there, like Mike Tobin and all the wrestlers that were there, they all knew. And AJ Styles looks at me. He says, hey, am I working for you in 2 days? I look right at Jeff Jarrett. I said, ask him. I said, ask him. I said, they were all paying you, and now they ignore me like I don't exist. And Jarrett just took me aside. He apologized. He goes, look, we're having a lot of company trouble. Yet I look like an idiot, a complete idiot, because all these guys, like AJ and Daniels and Kazarian, all guys who have worked for me a bunch of times, all think that I'm some nut job because I'm some idiot that thinks TNA was really going to buy my company. TNA didn't want my company. TNA wanted my promoter's license so they can walk in New York and do what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I mean, AJ Styles and we used to get along pretty good. After that, I'd see AJ Styles at the gym like once or twice a week when they're in town. We would barely say 2 words to each other, because to him, I'm probably this schmuck who's going around saying TNA's buying my company. In reality, they flew me to Orlando. They mailed me 100 posters to advertise TNA.
Yeah.
Frankie, do you remember when we went backstage at TNA the week you moved to Florida?
Oh, Mike, that was the night they were apologizing to me, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know about that. This was early 2006. You moved to Florida. I came down with the truck. That was the last time we saw Chris. It was a couple of weeks before Chris passed away.
Yeah, that's right.
And they were not happy to see us. Let's put it that way.
Because of that.
I didn't know that. I was oblivious to that.
Because of that.
I'm in the corner, bro. I'm in the corner like hiding out. Everybody's no-selling me except for the people that I knew from cyberspace. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Frankie's walking around. And
I don't think anybody.
Now I know why. After all,
I don't think anybody expected me to walk around backstage at TNA cursing at everybody, and I was really upset.
And the day before, you pranked me.
And the worst thing is, we're backstage at TNA. Billy Firehawk, I almost said Mark. Billy Hawk is walking around backstage with a replica belt, getting wrestlers to sign his belt.
Not that time. Not when I was there. I know you.
Yes, he was. Absolutely, he was. With his pants pulled all the way up to his chest. Absolutely, Billy was. That's exactly what he was doing.
He said
I looked him in the face.
Felt comfortable when they're wrestling the nipples. That's what he said.
Oh my God! He used to tell me he was the Sultan in WWE. I mean, he used to tell such stories.
He was good with us, man.
He was great with me. He always paid me well. You know what I mean? I'll say this, Frank, you don't know this. I was standing with Mike Cruel when you showed up. I was telling Boogaloo this story the other night. When you showed up in Wayne, New Jersey, who never leaves Long Island. When you came out, I'll never forget that. When you showed up at cyberspace.
That's why people used to say, Frank, why do you hate Billy Firemark? And you know why, Mike, right? Why did I go to his show that night?
I don't know. Was it a money thing?
No. Billy Firehawk wrote all over social media, right? Or whatever. Well, I think it was social media.
Was it on the DOI board?
No, he wrote on the. That's what it was. He wrote
the DOI board.
He wrote on the message boards. I have a wrestling show tonight in Wayne, New Jersey. And I don't have a ring for tonight. Can anybody help? So you know what I did? Mr. Everybody Hates Me. I went ahead and I made a phone call and I called in a favor. And I called up Billy and I said, Billy, it's Frank Goodman. And at the time I knew Billy because I used to collect comic books. And Billy was the guy who used to work in the comic book store behind the counter on Queens Boulevard. I said, Billy, I got you a ring for tonight. He said, really? I said, really? He says, how much is it? I said, I got you a ring for free, Billy. Okay. Rings cost $500 to $750. I said, I got you a ring for free. And who Mike, who drove with me? Do you remember?
I don't, because I was already there when you showed up. I mean, like I said, we were all there.
I don't
Boogie and
remember.
Chung were booked on those shows too.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't.
I just
remember.
never thought I'd see you go over the George Washington Bridge
I
after
don't
all
re-
these years.
I feel bad. I don't remember who drove with me.
Maybe Wittenstein or something.
No. It was like it was somebody more than that.
Ken
So I went ahead and I went to the show because I wanted to make sure that Billy got his ring, right?
Yeah.
And Billy never walked over and said hello. He never walked over and said thank you. Some guy, Jim Brambilla guy with cross eyes, walked up to me and he said to me, "You don't look like such a tough guy in person." I said, "I'll tell you what, how about if I beat your face in right now?" And the guy he was with Brett Schwann or something. And he ran away like a girl. Frank Goodman's going to beat me up. Frank Goodman's going to beat me up. And
I just know I was standing at the window with Mike Krul, and we saw the Zubaz pants and the Mickey Mouse sweatshirt from the second floor. I was
Rockshaw
like,
says
oh, man.
you showed up with the Dynamite Kid.
I did not show up with the Dynamite Kid. I did not show up with poor Mark. Boy, did I.
The new Dynamite Kid.
Frankie, I got to tell you
Yeah, the
something.
new
I said
Dynamite Kid, not the real
Oh,
Dynamite
man.
Kid.
Yeah.
Your locker room was like the greatest classroom in the world.
Thank you.
Boog, Chung, tell me if I'm wrong. All those guys like Angel and DeVito, Guido, everybody who was still on TV in your locker room took the time to teach us, and you gave us all the spot to shine.
I'll tell you,
man. We
I'll
always
give
appreciate
you a good one. You talk about the new Dynamite Kid, right? I'm going to give you two stories. So story number one, I'm wrestling Mark in Deer Park, Long Island. And Norman Smiley is doing play-by-play.
Oh, Jesus.
And Norman never came to one of our shows before. He's doing play-by-play only about 10 feet away. And I'm not going to get too graphic. All I'm going to say is this. Smelly Randy was in the guardrails. I'm wrestling Mark.
The shenanigans with that guy.
And I'm hitting Mark, I'm hitting Mark. And all of a sudden, I look out the corner of my eye, and Randy's stumbling around inside the guardrails. And it got physical. Let's just say when everything was... Oh, no, that... Wrong night. Hold on. I want to give you the correct night. So, okay. I'm wrestling Mark. I'm punching Mark. And I could hear Norman doing play-by-play saying, I came to USA Pro because I heard there were naked men here. And everybody in the audience could hear Norman because he's so loud. And I'm kind of giggling under my breath. And all of a sudden, Mark climbs to the top rope. And I don't know who he had up there. It could have been Rockshaw. I don't know. He was about to do a superplex off the top rope. And all of a sudden, Mark is on the top rope and he explodes laughing. And I hear Norman Smiley scream across the building, "Oh my God, there's a naked man." I turn my face. Randy was completely naked, standing on the turnbuckle with a full erection.
Yes, he was in law enforcement.
With a full erection. It was crazy.
They got him excited, apparently.
Yeah. Oh my God. And Mark, Mark was a policeman. I'll give you another one. So we're here. I think Tobin and I were at TNA. I think it was that night. And was that the night, Tobin, somebody asked us if we knew Mark?
No.
Okay.
We went during the day,
All right.
right when
So
you moved to Florida, the first week you moved to Florida.
I'm at TNA. I believe I was at TNA and somebody famous came up to me and they're like, "Have you ever heard of the new Dynamite Kid?" And I'm like, yeah. I mean, he's been wrestling for me for years. And it was somebody really famous. I just can't remember who it was. I mean, we're talking about a WWE main eventer, but I can't remember who it is.
Christian.
And he said, what was that?
Probably Christian, because he was there at TNA at that time.
I mean, it was somebody really famous. And they said that Mark came up to them at a bar and was telling everybody in the bar that he has main evented WrestleMania. He's wrestled Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania.
He
He's
did,
telling
he did.
all these stories.
did.
You heard
did.
that, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
no, he really did wrestle Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I know, of course.
And
And
Chuck Hogan.
but the thing is, he's telling the guy that he's wrestled that guy also. And I can't remember who it was. Mike, you never heard that?
I don't know. I don't know if I heard that story. I heard
Hey,
maybe something.
Tizzy,
about-
did you hear?
Yeah,
the
I've known
legend
him my
that,
whole life.
Did you hear about this new Dynamite Kid
He's telling-
naked photo floating
I
around?
have not. Let me tell you. So I've
No, I
known
haven't
Mark-
heard that.
Apparently there is.
I've known Mark my whole life. I love him, bro. I know him from my neighborhood since I was a little kid.
Yeah,
man.
you guys
Mark
had a good.
washes
You guys
the
had a
neighborhood in
good.
the Bronx.
You guys had a good name for him, but we can't use that on the podcast.
Mark
No,
washes
no.
my car here. He works at the car wash near me.
Good dude,
Oh
man.
shit!
He's a good dude. I love that.
No, yeah, he's awesome.
Mark's a great guy. It's just-
Firehouse. The Firehouse was the greatest, though. Good
what
time.
happened at the firehouse?
What do you do there?
The strut? No, all of us. I'm saying all of us. You were talking about it
Oh.
earlier. Just were great times at the Firehouse. You know, the stretcher jobs.
Hey Frank, I gotta ask you something because
Yes.
before this guy blows up my phone, what is your memories of Hot Stuff Eddie Guapo?
You know, I loved Eddie Guapo. I thought if Eddie had a little bit more training, I think Eddie would have gone as far as any of the other guys did. If Eddie just had a little bit more training and more ring time. You know, Eddie didn't get a lot of ring time. But I mean, personally, I there's nothing I don't like about Eddie Guapo. My mind's not so good, but I think Eddie and I stayed in contact a little while after he stopped on social media, and then we just lost contact.
Yeah.
But I liked Eddie Guapo very much.
We were the first ever trio
champions.
champions.
Oh, that's right. That's
and
right.
Alex.
That's
Last show
right.
on Alex.
I remember that. I liked Eddie. I liked Eddie very much.
And then
You
you,
know,
put
I
us
got-
against those fucking jabronis, and we had to kill them.
Oh my God.
Do you remember?
Well, you didn't have to kill him. Your brother did. I remember that.
Yeah, man. I was trying to be nice, Frank, and I go, nobody wanted to work with the kid, and I go, hey, what do you want
Rob
to do?
Fury.
I go, what do you want to do?
Rob Fury. That's
He
right.
says, oh, I could hit a running 450. I was like, can you do it? He goes, yeah. I said, all right, I'll take it. So I let him get his heat. He goes to hit this running 450. One of his feet come down and hit me right in the hip, and then the other foot was gonna hit me in the face. And at the time, he was wearing like construction boots. He didn't have wrestling boots.
I
So
remember that
I
night.
moved my face out of the way, and then I blacked out. That was a Thanksgiving show, and I blacked out, and I just got up and I just started nailing them, bam, bam, bam.
And then he tried to run.
Then he tried to run,
And
then
me and
he's
Guapo had to
hugging
grab
on-
that motherfucker. Me and Guapo
You
were
pulled him
trying to
out from
yoke
under the
his
ring,
ass up.
Chung.
Then he
Yeah,
started.
we were yoking his fuck ass.
Yeah,
and
he
was
started
like-
hugging. He started hugging the apron, and then like get back in the ring. He's like, "No, I'm sorry. I'm
I told
sorry."
him, I said, hey man, just get in the fucking ring and get it over with.
Yeah, those.
Just get in the ring and get it over
Yeah,
with, man.
He gets in the ring, and then I take my belt off, and then I proceed to whip him in the face with my belt.
Oh,
and whip
jeez.
him. I just beat the tar out of him. I think you have the video of that, right, Tobin?
Yeah, I do somewhere. That was crazy because
Yeah.
Chung and Guapo pick him up and say, "Stop being a bitch and get in the ring."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
we were
You know
like,
what I mean?
I was like, get the fuck
And,
in the
Boog,
ring.
and Boog's already got the belt off by this point. You know what I'm saying? Whip, whip, whip. Yeah, that was the last Elk show, right?
And then we started doing them Amazura shows, and you're gonna put us in there with fucking Negro's brother.
Oh, Jesus
What an
Christ.
let me tell you. What I mean, a whole family of morons. Whether they like it or not, a whole family of morons. You know? I gotta tell you something. I love the guts that turds like him have when they're 1,400 miles away.
Mhm.
You know, one thing about me, and you guys know, nobody could ever say Frank Goodman didn't pay them, can they?
Nope.
I pay people in advance, don't
Yep. You pay me a week in advance.
I? Pay people in advance. I never have to pay at the shows. And
Shit, sometimes a month in advance.
yeah, I never, ever liked EC Negro. I never did. Not a minute of my life did I like him. And look, I tell it like it is, okay? I was a lousy. I've had 4,000 wrestling matches. 5 of them were good. 1 of them was tolerable, and the rest sucked. Okay, you have to know what you are. You have to. I'm an annoying big mouth who goes on and on and on and on and on. But the fact of the matter is, I'm inhumanly strong, and I know how to fight. That's what it is. But I'm honest. Okay. From the day I met EC Negro, he never knew what he was. And what he was and what he is a whiny crybaby, okay, who is not a good worker. He's not a good person. He's a fake, a phony, and a big mouth. And I swore I would never use him again. You know, this kid walked into my shows.
Somebody
in front
says
of
that EC Egro owes you money, Frank.
EC Egro owes me money. He walked into my shows, and I immediately put him versus the SATs in front of 1,000 people and gave him main event matches. And this turd, right? Mike Zevon came to me, a friend of mine. He's like, Frank, please use him. You know, I was coming back to New York after like 14, 15 years. We sold the show out. We had like 800 people in a building that held 500. Okay. And he, you know, Mikey begged me to use him. I said, okay. And you know what I did? I don't remember what I was paying him. I think I paid him more than I should because of Mike Zevon. I probably sent him $150. I don't remember how much.
Yeah, he owls Frank money.
Yeah, it was a favor to, you know. And he starts complaining about who he's going to wrestle. He's complaining.
He's supposed to wrestle Manny Fernandez, right?
Yeah. But listen, Manny didn't want to wrestle him. I mean, I don't know how much clearer I could be. Manny didn't want it. Manny wanted to work. This was probably going to be Manny's last New York show. Manny didn't want to work him. Okay. Manny knew he wasn't good. Manny didn't want to work him. Okay. I didn't want to hurt the kid's feelings. It's bad enough he has to look in the mirror and look at that body of his. Okay. So, I mean, I just said to him, listen, you know, this match won't work out. We're going to find you somebody else. Okay. I'm not coming. I said, all right, don't come. Send me back my money. I'm not sending you back anything. Big mouth because he's in another state. You know, all big mouths are in other states. You always have a big mouth when you know no one's going to grab you by your scrawny neck or rip your arm out of the socket and beat you with it. So he tells everybody I removed him from the show. He said he's not coming to the show.
Yeah, he said he wasn't coming.
Yeah, I said, send me my money back. I said, send me my money. He is the only person to ever beat me out of money.
Oh,
you know?
Shit.
Well, Vader didn't beat me out of money. He beat me out of an airline ticket that Anthony de Blasi paid for. But, you know, to me, this guy is just, and I'm not going to say, oh, it's just $150. It's the whole purpose of a promoter trusts you that you're going to do what you're supposed to do. And you're such a gutless turd that you don't do the right thing and pay back the money. And so to me, he is just a turd burglar. That's what he is. And his brother, who I happen to like very much. I always liked his brother.
Which one, Diambi or the Latin Stallion?
The Latin Stallion. I always liked the Latin Stallion until and I understand defending your brother, but it doesn't matter if it's your brother, your mother, your sister, you know, your Aunt Tilly. You can't defend somebody who takes money from somebody and then runs away. So that's my only problem with the brother. Other than that, I like them all. You know.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I want to insult somebody else. I don't care.
Well, no, actually, we gotta start wrapping up.
We want to know. Hold on. How did you pay him in owls? That's what somebody wants to know. Because
in what? In what?
Owls.
What's
you know
that?
who?
I was going to bring up one quick thing before we go, Bug. the greatest party I think I've ever been to is the barbecue at Frank and Kathleen's house in
Oh,
the
did
summer
we
of
have
2001
barbecue?
after the beach show.
So
And nobody took a
Weenies with
picture.
Sweeney. Weenies with Sweeney.
Everybody was there. Everyone in the business was there at Frank and Kathleen's house, and we didn't get a picture, bro. And so
Yeah,
many
I
of the
know.
brothers are gone now.
We had
But
a
that was a great day.
So
wait,
WrestleMania barbecues.
Was that the fucking day that what was there that Missy Hyatt fell on the fucking boardwalk?
Oh my God!
Her-
Do you
her
know,
and Tammy, her and
to this day,
Her and Tammy both fell.
listen to this. Missy Hyatt doesn't talk to me anymore, even though I gave her paydays when nobody else wanted to use her. Right? Missy Hyatt doesn't talk to me because she passed out on the beach at my house. How the hell? What the hell does that have to do with me?
They were getting high in the bathroom. That's what
Yeah,
they
That
were
was
doing.
the day.
That was the day that
after
fucking
Jack's
Mike-
show, so everybody was in town.
That was the day Mike V clotheslined me out. Well, clotheslined me out the battle royal.
I gotta ask you a question. How are we wrapping it up when like I've wrestled like 40 guys that are dead? We're not talking about any dead people.
We're gonna have to come back with another
This guy,
episode.
because somebody has to go to work.
I have to go to work.
What, tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to talk about people that are dead.
Oh man,
I'm watching all these shows.
This is a strong allegation here.
Can we do negative
shows I'm
Ghost
watching.
Rider?
All these dark sides of the ring are making me sad.
So can we do a part 2 with you? Or
Yeah.
all right, let's do it.
Yeah, I'll do a part two.
I didn't know you stayed up past 9 o'clock, Frank. That I was nervous that you weren't gonna make it, brother.
I stay up until 2.5 Men switch over to something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll schedule it for another maybe 2 weeks from now. We'll do the part 2.
All right. Have you guys eaten that Portillo's yet?
No,
Never even heard of it.
Where's it?
Where's
Haven't
that
even
at?
talked to Bison about that.
Oh,
Where's that
yeah.
at?
Oh, they opened one up near me. It's a restaurant from Chicago. It's pretty good.
Check out.
Who would have thought
I'll
20
have
years
to
ago,
look
with
that
all
up.
of us in the Elks, that we'd be all Floridians now?
Crazy.
One last question for you, Frank.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody wants to know, Killer K. Wall wants to know favorite memory of the dead president in the ring.
Favorite memory of what?
The dead presidents in the ring.
Who are they? Oh, my favorite. How many of you have a Puff and Stuff doll?
Nobody.
No.
Just you.
My favorite memory of the dead presidents? Well, I can give you my favorite memory of Boogaloo. Frank, please, can you get me a new tag team partner?
I didn't want a tag team partner.
No, I'm talking the old days.
No, I didn't need a tag team. You were like, hey, we're gonna push you singles. And
You
then
should have
gave
seen, let me tell you, you should have seen Danny's face, Danny Moff, when I told him we're going to break up that team. You know, my favorite memory of the dead presidents, probably the last show where you guys won the tag team titles.
That was a good show.
Yeah,
that was great.
yeah, that was a good show.
I was a sellout.
Yep.
That everything started selling out the last couple of years. You know,
Yep.
definitely. I'm going to be sad now that we're not doing the show anymore tonight. I could have stayed here all night. I love talking about people I don't like.
We're gonna get you in. Hey,
Yeah,
somebody wants to say something to you before we go.
Sure.
Here
What's
we go.
up, Frank? Yeah,
There
put
you go.
those glasses
There he
on.
is.
You don't use me on your shows anymore, so
Who is that?
That's
You know
Angel.
that guy?
it's not homicide. I'm
Angel Medina, the Kingpin Angel.
Angel.
He's like, what? Oh shit!
Oh,
That
well, that's
guy
cool.
right there.
Angel, we'll bring
That
you
guy
in.
right there.
Listen, we got it. I got it. I got the match. We're gonna bring you in. We're gonna team you up with your old tag team partner against the dead presidents.
There we go.
I like it.
I like
Oh,
it.
I like it.
Angel,
I mean,
Yeah,
I've been waiting to give Angel a beating.
Angel and Vito. It'll be the greatest tag team ever.
Whoa,
I'll bring out the tea bag out of retirement.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Angel and Vigo, not
Vito.
good Vigo.
Oh, you kidding me? Hey, brother, just stay outside the ring. I'll do all the work.
Oh my god.
But Frank, man, I just want to say, man, thank you for starting me out in the business, giving me a great
get out of
career.
here.
You
Get
know,
outta here.
if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I'm at. Straight shoot. You know.
Yeah, you. Hey, listen,
you,
I
Frank.
appreciate it. I can't
Thank you,
believe
Frank.
you. I
Thank
can't
you.
believe you all
Yeah,
are
thank you, brother.
flatfoots.
Well, I was. I left that, but yeah, all flatfoots.
That's crazy, you know? Listen, you all were great, and not one of you guys were ever 1 minute of trouble. Never. You know, none of you were ever a minute of trouble. You all were great.
We had a lot of fun, Frankie.
No, Mike,
Thank
they
you.
were great. You were a pain in my ass.
Always.
Yeah. But definitely, Angel, when we come back, we will get you down here and we'll team you back up with Tony again.
Yeah, man. Like I said, if it's gonna be your last show,
yeah.
I want to be there. Like I said, like Louis said, if I started with you, I want to at least finish it off. with
I
you.
appreciate it, guys. And I love you guys very much. I can't wait to do another show.
Yeah, no, we're gonna definitely get you on because
Yeah, we'll get you on, brother.
We just scratched the surface, so we gotta get more.
We got so much more to get into with you and find out who else you hate.
I hate everybody.
We just need to find that
But we need
dynamite
the
pick
scoop.
picture.
Is it really exist?
Yeah, because I was at the Elks, a true story, and they told me about it. It was like an explicit photo with him with his finger somewhere and on himself. And I'm like, "Are you serious?" And Christopher Michaels was the one that told me about it. And I'm like,
And he took it.
because he's like, "You ripped me," and he goes, because he was apparently naked with his police badge. And
You
I'm
know,
like,
I saw the Popalicious naked picture. I'm sure it was a Popalicious one, and there was one other guy. Oh, Little Greatness.
Little Greatness.
You never heard of those?
Greatness.
Greatness.
Which one was Little Greatness?
Greatness. This skinny little kid that could do all the crazy flips.
I worked with him a bunch of times. You guys remember him?
Yeah, the kid was really a great spot guy.
He jumped off the wall at the fairgrounds in Orlando.
Yeah, at the
onto
fair, he
like 10 of
jumped
us.
off the wall, jumped off the building's roof. But his penis is something like, I don't know, 15, 18 inches or something.
What the fuck?
You know, there were pictures all over the internet about it. It was crazy.
King of the tripods.
Absolutely.
So Frank,
Yes.
July 4th, part 2, Mass Maniac. What do you say?
July 4th?
Yeah. What do you say?
Yeah. Might as well. You pick Father's Day, you might as well pick July 4th, right?
You're here for all the holidays.
That's all right. As long as it's not Hanukkah.
No, we can't do that to you.
All right. Boys, I love you all very much. Take care.
Frank, brother, thank you
Love
for
you too,
having
Frank.
me.
Thank you,
Thank you for coming
Thanks,
on,
Frank.
brother.
Thank you, guys. How the hell do I
Be
turn
safe.
this crap off?
Hey, so thank you for tuning in today. And if you want, I suggest you do subscribe to us on Twitch. And we got great shows. We got the Kingpin Angel with Killing the Business.
Oh, you keep looking up at the ceiling,
That guy
bro.
right there. That guy right there.
Because I'm looking at my other monitors.
Okay.
I got a control room here. But you got Shooting the Shit Uncensored with Pierce Austin. And you also got Get Funked with Alan Kwee Funk, which I'll be having dinner with him sometime during the first week of July. I'm gonna go out there and see him. Also, don't forget sleeves.com. Get it. The vape.
Yeah. And health what is it? Healthvape.com.
Vape. Yep.
Help
Yeah,
me.
healthvape.com,
Healthvape.com.
guys. Make sure y'all get your healthvape.com, get your pods and your what's the other
Healthy vapes,
you know
man.
what I mean, healthy vapes.
Yeah,
And
man. Use the code NWA Pod.
for either or, and let's get it.
Get your 10% discount.
All right, guys.
We're gonna be signing out. Thank you guys for coming on, and we'll see you next week.
Tizzy, thank
Thank
you.
you guys, all three of you, for
Okay.
having me this weekend. Be safe, brothers.
Tizzy, good job being on Kingpin show this week, also, brother.
Thank
Yeah,
all
good
three of you
seeing
for
you.
having me, man. See you next week, brother.
All right,
Yeah, I'm a man.
brother.
I have the power, baby. I have the power.
Get this motherfucker out of here.
try to take us out.
I got you, man. Y'all be safe.
So next week, we
And,
love you guys.
Love you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in.